But no, Beth York goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.
Hey everyone, welcome to CVRcade World Cup. I am Beth York and we are in Zone T of this wonderful bracket season that we've been duking it out over the last few weeks. We have 4 races in tonight's Omnium and we have all kinds of action that we can expect here across Electronic Rush, Country Rally, Cityscape, and Saturn Circuit. So all different multipliers, all different abilities, and from what these racers saw in the K and L zone earlier today, I am expecting fireworks because we have the ace riders. We have Jennifer Garcia racing tonight. We have her teammate Erin also racing tonight and warming up on course. Kayla is back in the mix here after a little bit of a break. We have Allison of Team Cognition along with Modi Pakelny. We have Anish, and I'm looking down the list, and this is a stacked field. And this is going to be exciting. And first on Electronic Rush, we have quantum shift ability. That means the riders will be able to phase through each other. We have corner caper ability, which means we won't crash out in the corner, but we also have uncrashable as an ability. And of course, with this low skill event, we have one comeback kid. And with the comeback kid, we've seen that actually take this low skill and make it a little bit more high skill or somewhere in between, enough so that we're still calling it no skill, but we're giving it 1.5 time multiplier instead of 1 in tonight's Omnium. And then we've got Country Rally that's right around the corner. So with 2 minutes to go, we've got these racers warming out on course. And I wonder how the team play is going to happen tonight, because we did see Jennifer Garcia take the real first batch on Tuesday without Erin in the mix. So she's learning how to play that well. Jennifer, good evening to you.
Hi.
So on Tuesday, you raced the first no skill event to perfection. You executed your comeback kit at just the right time, and now you've got Erin in the mix. What are we going to see here on this first race?
You know, I think a lot of people are catching on to the tactic of kind of getting up in the second position and using the comeback kit. So I really don't know what to expect on this, because I think so many people are going to try it that it might actually mess it up a little bit. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, good luck. I can tell you from trying to copy that maneuver, it's not just a copy paste. There actually is a little bit more to it so that maybe people are trying, but I still think you have the advantage with 1 minute to go. Good luck. I'll let you talk to your teammate. We've got Modi of Team Cognition also warming up in the mix, just under a minute to go. He's probably talking with his teammates. Modi, if you're available, quick word.
We'll assume that.
What? Clip his mic. Nope, he is in the team car. So right now, these riders that are streaming in, they're actually doing a number of things. They are in the audio chat. You see here Kayla warming out on course, checking her watch there, securing. I don't think it's a Fitbit. I think it's something else, but she's got a heart rate monitor here that you are required. We've got Nigel warming up on course. Nigel, of course, had a massive race on Tuesday. Not sure what he's bringing to the mix. We'll interview these guys after the race. There is Erin here. We saw him, the Earth Shaker, Erin, in some video earlier posting. He's like, no. He knows all the Hollywood tricks there to make an interesting stream. Just 10 minutes to go here on Electronic Rush. You can see all of them lining up. They're going through the optical illusion. I hope nobody is having any problems optically with this, but it is crazy. It's going to be fast. And you can see right out of the gate, Jenna Garcia is pumping on those pedals, and she knows that she does not want to get get lost. And she is at the front with Aaron, with Nigel, Kayla, Allison, Modi, Daniel, also Team Cognition, all in the mix. And the name of the game is to use the draft. 3.4 kilometers remain on this fast track. Now, if these guys did not have Uncrashable, if these guys did not have Corner Caper, the speeds of which they were going, they would actually be crashing out because it's a slippery course. It's a twisty, turny course. You can see that these guys are just staying focused. They're staying in a line, not a lot of lane changing. Some of them are getting up to, 80, 90% draft when you're in that. And the deceiving thing is if you do get spit out the back and you try to catch on, the cumulative speed of all these goes, ooh, comeback kid there early on. Look at Homer saying, okay, guys, I want to make sure I get back. I'm 10 seconds back. I'm going to use my comeback kid here, power up and see if I can't make connection. And that's the way to play it. If you do lose connection with that front group, you need to use that comeback kid because you will not be able to get back without it. Here we are back on board with Modi. You can see those legs pumping there. He is riding his bike. He's got a power source on his trainer that's communicating with the game. All of these racers are riding their bikes and putting real power to the pedals, and that is moving their avatar to the game. Now, we're just about a third of the way through, and we still have Aaron, Jennifer, Nigel, Allison, Kayla, Modi, Kim, Daniel using his comeback kid here. Looks like he's just about 3 seconds back. I think he might be slingshotting to the front here, and he is coming and saying, okay, guys, I do not want to lose contact from this group, but if he can accelerate through, make up those couple seconds because he gets that extra power for 45 seconds or until he passes the first racer. So he is using all of that power just a couple seconds back because he knows his teammates are up in the front and are going to need them. Back on board here with Kayla Laguna, 1.7 kilometers to go for this front group. Daniel's still using that power plant to get back, that comeback kid to still get back, but Kayla here, super focused, had a little bit of a break, back in the mix, side by side here on the front. We've got Modi Pekelny and Jennifer Garcia. 1.4 kilometers to go. Side by side here, you see them working. You see the concentration on their faces. You see the effort. You can see Modi having a conversation with his teammates because he knows it's starting to get to crunch time. It's starting to say, what are we going to do? Are you going to drop back? Are you going to stick out your nose in the wind? When are you going to use your comeback kid? Who's going to go first? Same thing with Jennifer. She's in talking with Kayla and with Aaron. How are we going to play this, guys? Who's going to go first? Who's going to match the power? 1 kilometer to go. And we see that this might happen. So Aaron looks pretty relaxed. He hasn't yet got the camera shake going there. He has it isn't really the world that is shaking. I don't want to ruin the illusion here, but he does make the world move here. Aaron, 0.7 kilometers to go. Modi also on front. Jennifer, and what we are watching for, we're watching for the surge of power. We are watching for the speed in the nearby riders list. We saw Modi go so early on Tuesday. Will he do it again? We see 700 equalized watts from Jennifer. She's making a move here. 400 by Nigel on the front, 600 by Nigel on the front. Jennifer, Nigel, Aaron, 1, 2, 3, but Modi comes around. He is using that draft, and Kayla drops her comeback kid. She's just a second behind, and she's going to get some extra speed, but Modi's on the front. 1,000, 1,100 equalized watts, 0.1 kilometer to go. Is he going to take it to the line? Crosses Homer, uses that, and he makes it. Modi, then Aaron, then Nigel, then Jennifer. That was well played, Modi. We all saw the power kicking up. We saw the riders responding, and whoo boy, that was pretty intense. When Modi makes a decision, he makes a decision. Here is the replay. You can see first Jennifer adds a little bit of a power, 1 lap to go. She's making sure she and Nigel are well positioned. As she said, people are starting to realize the move that she and Aaron have been executing so flawlessly on this, quote, no skill event, which we know does require skill. But Modi says, nope, I know the move. I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it now. And he launches to the front with about 0.3 kilometers to go, holds it all the way to the line and is unstoppable and crosses the line with Nigel. Modi, well done there, my friend. Talk me through your strategy.
Oh, that was brute force. Just trying to watch everybody and waiting till the last minute. Didn't want to get caught by Aaron and Jennifer's attack. And so I wasn't able to drop back and use my comeback kid. So I kind of had to stay at the front and watch for that, and it worked out. It forced them to wait a little bit longer than normal. So I only think what I did will work once. They'll adjust for next time.
Well, I mean, I think that's what everyone says, but it does take a little bit of practice to execute. So you are sitting on top there on the board coming into Country Rally. We do have a few power-ups, one corner caper, one wind at your back, but we do have wind on course. What are you thinking about when you think of that sort of set, that what's going into Country Rally here?
The wind makes a big difference, and how things shake out coming through the barn the first time really sort of sets the tone for the race. So a lot happens in the first 35 seconds of this race. We're either going to see people use the power-ups right away or hold them until the end is my prediction. And it's going to sort of be all or nothing. Once one person makes the move, you're going to see other people, because riding off the front on these more technical courses gives you an advantage in that you don't have to push it as much and risk crashing. So getting that start is really important to people.
Well, those are some wise words. You've got about 2 minutes to recover from that effort. I'll let you catch your breath and get in the conversations with the comms with your teammate. Good luck to you and Team Cognition. Let's check in with Aaron if he's available. Aaron, you're sitting second heading into this race, Country Rally. Have you been out practicing on this course?
No, I have not, and I haven't ever finished well on this course, so we'll see how it goes this time. I know I made a mistake in the last one, the last race. I hit my power up before I meant to. I was just putting my finger there to get it ready, and I hit it, and I just lost it because I used it in a group of people. So I don't know.
Well, you still placed high. You still finished well. Congratulations on that. Do watch your corner speed on this. It nails me every lap. So just watch that corner speed. 1 minute to go. Good luck to you, Aaron. Your teammate also there out on course. Kayla, under a minute to go. This is one of those rhythm courses that Kayla actually does have such an advantage going into. Kayla, are you ready for Country Rally with wind?
Not with wind, but no, no, I am. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this one. Whenever wind is involved, it always switches it up, and it's a little bit more difficult because I mean it's a 7 km/h wind, so you feel it in the trainer. But it's going to be fun. I love the more technical courses, and I haven't raced Country Rally. I mean, I raced it earlier today, but it's just always a fun one to race. So I'm excited for it.
Well, good luck. Just under 20 seconds to go. I'll let you get focused back in. Thanks again for streaming in. And here we go. Now, when we are out of the gate on this, we will see everyone spin up the power, as Modi did tell us that the first 20, 30 seconds are so important on this race. And one of the things that I noticed earlier as I was racing on this course is that with the corner caper, with the wind at your back, you can see there that there is someone using some power-ups there. You can see Jenna spinning out there, making sure she's in the front of the pack there. Getting the lane position early is also important here. You can see here on board with Modi using the wind at his back, and he's got the corner coming up here. Probably will slide out, but he uses corner caper wisely. That was the mistake I made and didn't use my corner caper. Well played. You will slide out on that corner going more than 44 kph. And when you do that, you need to get back to the right lane or you're going to hit the barn. And I tend to just try to pull through that a little bit. Oh, and Jennifer goes down. That's also the place with the wind starts to turn at that corner, watching the speed. So Modi out on front just by about 3 seconds. His teammate Daniel right behind him. Aaron just 3 or 4 seconds back from that. And this is one of those courses where if you start thinking about, nice job on that corner caper, Jennifer, using the wind at her back, saying, I am not going to let these guys get away from me. Watch those speeds on those corners, though. You can come up pretty fast with that tailwind. Smart time to use it. Just need to not exceed those corner speeds. When you see those riders up in front of you, Nigel using his power up, when you see the riders in front of you, it's very easy to overdo it. Nice. Nigel's like, not me, man. I know that I need the corner caper here. He uses it through 2 corners, but oh, he whacks into the bed. Oh, that's painful. He was playing it so well. Now, corner caper is not uncrashable. So if he had uncrashable, he would have been able to go through that barrier, but that was a corner caper, and he did need to just slide left 1 lane to mix that barrier. He was playing that so well, and that's what sometimes can happen. So Modi still on the front, 4 seconds from Kayla here. Kayla on the chase. She can see him up the road, starting to turn on the dirt road. Kayla does have a team cognition member right behind her saying, I'm going to use your wheel because my teammate's up the way and I am not going to help you get to him. So as they round that corner, Kayla, about 40 kph, safe speed to go through without sliding out, keeping that lane position in the center so she does not slam into the barn door. So that is very important. It's not just enough not to exceed the corner speeds. You also have to be thinking about those lane positions, and if you're going to slide out and not wanting to smack into the barn door. Back on board with Aaron, currently sitting 4th place, about 8 seconds back from the front, but he's on the hot pursuit, just a few seconds back from Daniel. If he can bridge to Daniel and Kayla, he can maybe work with that group to leapfrog up to Modi. He's got to be sure he's watching those corner speeds, because this is where you can't overcook it. The wind has turned. It can come at your back. You want to make sure that you're watching those corner speeds. And here we are back on board with Jennifer, who has been moving up despite that earlier crash. She's just a couple seconds back from Homer, and I'll tell you, if you can get Homer's wheel, that's a good wheel to follow. Homer's always steady in the races, super strong and solid. I also have been doing a lot of my Rise and Rips courses with him, and he is just wonderful to follow. Back on board here with Nigel, also trying to take the train back with Jennifer, connect with his teammate up the way, see if he can't chip away at some of this. With 3.6 kilometers to go, you can make up a couple seconds on each lap, but you do have to be careful not to make a mistake. It does look like Homer just used his power up the way, and here we are side by side with our 2 front riders. Modi about 7 seconds up from Kayla. Kayla is watching her speed. She's watching the leaderboard. She's seeing what's going on. She's reading the wind. She knows she comes into this corner, she needs to be careful not to slide out. She knows she's got those obstacles coming up. Daniel's hot on her heels, bumps into her wheel, takes a position to the left, making her need to go to the right. So that's what can happen. You can be side by side when you come out of the barn doors, but you do need to assert yourself and decide what path you're going to take. What lane are you going to take? You want to be first through, so that you have options. And sometimes people up the way can even if they're not intentionally blocking you, they can block you. But here Kayla comes around a couple of the AI riders, and she's only about 8 seconds, 9 seconds back. But I know what she said when she's coming back to racing. She's sort of sharpening her pencil back up. She's been one of the fiercest racers, always on top of the leaderboard. Took a couple weeks off, and now coming back into the racing, she's pacing out her effort. She wants to save some stuff for Cityscape and Saturn, 2 of the longer races that are coming up. But she's sitting really nicely here, and she doesn't necessarily need to catch Modi, but Modi can make a mistake, but she does want to stay in front of Daniel. She wants to make sure that that she can take as many points away from Daniel in this race. 2.4 kilometers to go, and Modi is just absolutely nailing it on the front. 500 equalized watts. He is hammering it here on the straightaway. Once you come down this finish line, you avoid those logs. There's a couple straight lines that you can take when no one's around. You can take those straight lines. You can put a massive amount of effort down, and then just slow down into the corner and get to the barn. And then that's where you can make some seconds. You can add a little bit of seconds between you and your competition here. Kayla coming onto the dirt, through the corner, back to the barn door, 2 kilometers to go. And it does look like Daniel crashed behind her. So that bodes well for her, because if she wants to keep him in her rear view mirror, that crash is going to help him do it. But whoa, Aaron comes right around Daniel at that point and says, hey, your crash, my gain. So watching the wind, he's being super careful here. I can tell Aaron is watching that wind on these corners here as he comes out of the hay bale. That's where you're getting the max tailwind here. And but he is able to move up to 3rd place here, just 10 seconds back from Kayla and a couple seconds up from Aaron. So if he does that, he moves himself, he keeps himself in second place, holds his second place from the first race. In the 1, 2, 3, we've got, if we finish in this position, we've got Modi, Aaron, Kayla, and Jennifer, 1, 2, 3, 4. So Modi looks like he's going to be able to hold this lead unless he makes a mistake, which I'm not expecting. We've got Jennifer here coming up to Daniel. And right now I know that Aaron's saying, Jennifer, just get past Daniel. Come to me, and we will both leave Daniel and Homer behind. Jennifer is working. She also knows she's got Cityscape New York next with the flat tires. And Daniel does try to come around Aaron, but he does wipe out again. I think he just kind of overlapped wheels a little bit, but you can see here, Aaron does the wind at his back. He utilizes it. He put himself in the lane position where he didn't have to move the obstacles because he was in front. He drops wind at his back at the time when he can take advantage of all of that speed on this straightaway. And then even turning onto the dirt, you can take a lot of speed into this corner. It's the corner he gets to next that he has to watch, but he does drop his corner caper because he remembers, hey, I have one left, 0.8 kilometers to go. I have one left. And then he goes through the corner, perfectly executed. Oof, was any bit later. Nicely done. And then we see Modi on the front here. He's got 7.7 kilometers to go. He has 10 seconds on Kayla. Kayla has 6 seconds on Aaron. So will Kayla close it down? I don't think she's going to have enough time with 0.5 kilometers to go. It would be a crash by Modi. So I don't like to count my chickens, especially on Country Rally. You can't count your chickens before they hatch on Country Rally. That was really weak humor. I won't say it again, I promise. 0.3 kilometers to go. With Modi on the front, he is softening his pace just a little bit. His heart rate is up, 0.3 kilometers to go. He knows he's on the right-hand side there. He knows he just has to get through the last 2 turns and down the straightaway. Kayla is 8 seconds back. She's maintaining that position in front of Aaron. Doesn't look like Aaron's going to catch her, but Modi finds the right line straight away to the finish line, and that will be 2-4-2 for Modi, keeping him on top of the leaderboard. And if Kayla does finish next, she just had her corner caper there to come across the line. You can see there from the helicopter view, all of the debris. Some truck just slid off the road and left it quite a mess. And then Aaron, pardon me, Aaron coming through the line in 3rd place. Jennifer did end up overtaking Homer and Daniel, and it looks like Jennifer does have some congestion here, but she will come across the line, and then followed by Homer and Nigel as well. So Jennifer leapfrogged up to meet to her teammates, but here is the replay here. It was Modi on the front for most of the race, Kayla in hot pursuit the whole entire way, holding that 2nd position, making sure she shook Daniel off while she was racing. He had a couple crashes that gave Aaron the opportunity to come up and make its way. And then this is the finishing point on Country Rally. Modi did the work up front. He executed the strategy he said he was going to do. He was going to get out early, and it's exactly what he did. And even though he said it out loud, nobody was able to take him off the top spot. So after that race, Modi Pekelny, number 1 again. Modi, do you have 30 seconds, or are you with your team?
I'm good. Yeah, that went well. I tried to follow the instructions I gave the viewers during the last segment, and I managed not to crash. But boy, was I focused on those hay bales coming around the last time. Am I in the right lane? Am I in the right lane? Like staring them down. And I knew I couldn't make a single mistake because Kayla, while finishing 2nd, put in less effort, but would have caught me had I made any mistakes. So she's going to be a bit fresher coming into this event. And that was a lot of work for me. So still a lot of racing yet to come.
That was, and we saw here Nigel use this as we watched the replay, used his power up and then happened to hit an obstacle. A little bit disappointing on Country Rally. One mistake like that can cost you. Then we saw Aaron, he used this corner caper here, just super played back to back with his wind at his back on that last straightaway, holding 3rd position. But here we are looking at it again, Modi versus Kayla. And as Modi did say, had he made a mistake, Kayla Kayla would have had the opportunity, but Kayla also did force the mistake of a competitor to shake off Daniel, Modi's teammate, and then again, Modi came across the line without any contest there, but we did have the positions well fought for. So moving on to Country Rally, I wonder if Kayla is available. Kayla, have you caught your breath yet? Are you? Do you have a moment?
Yes, yeah, I'm finally caught up. Country Rally, it's I'm telling you, anything with wind, it makes it a little bit more difficult. And what do you know? Now we have 4 laps of Cityscape with wind, so it's gonna be quite the ride.
So wind, we also have uncrashable as an ability. We have 1 quantum shift. We have 1 flat tire. We saw how the flat tire played out in the earlier races. What do you think? What are you preparing for from your competition with that flat tire?
Yeah, gonna really try to, especially with just how many people are into as well. There's just gonna be a lot of flat tire power-ups being dropped. So just going to try to make sure I'm in the right gear, because I found that earlier, if I'm not in the right gear when that happens, it's just not able to get back up to speed so quickly. So I'm going to try to be cautious about when people are going to be deploying that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot at the beginning and towards the end. So we're going to just see how it plays. You never know with the flat tire power-up, honestly. You never know.
You never know. Well, just under 30 seconds, I will let you get back to it. I will talk to Aaron after this race, but I would like to congratulate him on a high placement on Country Rally, because as we went into that race, he wasn't particularly confident about his ability on that race course, on that track, but he proved he can race Country Rally. He was wise. He was smart. In 3 seconds to go, these guys are going to start spinning up. You're going to see the power, and out of the gate, they go. Daniel on the front saying, okay, I did not have the finish that I wanted to have, but Team Cognition rider there, Modi Bakelny, trying to make connection with that front group there, just a little bit of gap happening. We can see Jennifer here also making sure she's staying in the pack. And with wind, pardon me, with wind, you want to be on the front, but you don't want to be on the front. You want to be the second wheel or third wheel. Tuck yourself in the draft there. And outside, I like to be like in the middle, not exactly second wheel, because then I have to pull next. But, being tucked and protected in the draft, particularly in this race, this course, because it twists and turns and the wind changes with you. So there's the opportunity there to be just to the side and echelon a little bit and get some benefit. But Nigel takes the inside lane, knowing that is the shortest distance, and even despite the wind, he can kind of make up some time and then slide in, boom, just like that, into the draft. So that was a wise move. He doesn't want to get thrown off the back as this peloton gets spread out. As people start to lose a little bit of the power, you want to be nearer the front than the back, because it's like the tail of the dog where it just kind of snaps around, and if you're caught off the back, you're going to miss the train here. You can see that we've got Allison, Team Cognition rider, in there, but Daniel is still pushing on the front through the wind, 193 on his heart rate there. Anish also there, but boom, power up there. You just saw that is like, it's funny. It is a power up because it does do something to the game, but it actually gives one person the ability to not stop, and everybody else comes down to 0. So the power up is someone actually making everybody in the race have to start over. And so when you go 0, if you're going 40 kph and you make everyone go 0, you can get a gap off the front. And it does look like Anish just did that. He has about 6 or 7 seconds on the front. And you can see here Nigel jockeying for position, trying to get the right spot here, making his way trying to get as much protection from the wind as he can. Very smart racer. We saw Nigel absolutely kill it on Tuesday. He's coming back in. He had just a little disappointment on Country Rally, but there's 2 more great races that Nigel knows how to race. Here we are on board with Kayla. You can see that she's looking up the way. She's behind the wheel of Jennifer, and that's a good wheel to be, but she's like, you know what? I can see they're 2x2. I'm going to hop up here with Modi. I don't want to get wagged around the back of this peloton. She is trying to take advantage of that side Look at that smile. She knows Modi's not letting her by, and she's trying to find a path. But Modi's out there in the wind, not in line with the echelon. So he's actually trying to tuck himself back in there. So I couldn't tell if Jennifer wasn't letting him in or if he was playing games with, we'll have to ask them. Look, from Kayla's face, it looked like Modi was playing games. From Modi's face, it was like, hey man, nothing to see here. I'm just trying to get back in line with my teammates. So side by side coming around. This is a long race. Cityscape New York, each lap, there's 4 laps with the flat tire. And we did see one in the front, and that did give Anish a 4-second lead. It looks like this group is closing it down on him a little bit. We've got Daniel, Nigel, we've got Jeff Rooney in there, the Velocity Vixen, who he did not race the earlier races, but he did decide to pop in and race this race. Allison Kubota, Jennifer here on board with Jennifer. And we do see some of the AI riders, Beatrice out there. And what we saw also in the early races that these AI riders, other racers out on course, you can draft from them and actually conserve. And what happens, what we saw in this course earlier, was that the chase group got within 10 seconds of the lead group just by hanging on to the bot. So there wasn't the riders in the earlier races that made the break, that were 10 seconds up the road, continued to turn themselves into just beat on their legs until they just were limp. But these guys being able to utilize the draft here, Beatrice pulling on the front. I like Beatrice. She's really fun. Robert's out there. But Anish is being caught by the chase group, who has the ability for the momentum to keep it going. Back on board with Nigel. He's looking relaxed. He's got his wind going. And of course, on the Northern Hemisphere, we're moving into winter, and he is moving into summer. So he's got a different weather condition. It's hot for him and it's freezing in my basement. But he's got his fan on and he is working hard. He did absolutely crush it. Oh, he's going to tell me how many degrees that is. And he's going to tell me in Celsius. He's going to make me... Oh, he's talking. I don't know if we have his mic open. If we can open his mic, I'm curious to hear what he had to say. Go ahead, Nigel. Your mic's open now.
Oh, yeah, no, I've got 2 fans going. It's so warm. One of them is a kicker head, so I'm pumping out a lot of air. It's very warm and humid.
Well, save your breath now, because I made you say it twice, but thank you so much for chiming in. I just, I didn't know what you were saying, but I love the animation and I love hearing from you, but I don't often like to interrupt racers while they're riding. Thank you for opening up his mic here. All right, so now this is Modi's Sunday morning ride face right here. He is very relaxed right now. If we look on the list here and we look at what he's doing for watts, we can see that he is about 300 equalized watts. He's well protected in the draft. You can see that his heart rate is 168, which he is. His face starts to change around 185, 190. So right now, he's just making sure he's not going to drop off the back, but Anish is still on the front with Daniel. And then we've got Allison in there, Kayla and Nigel, all kind of holding together. Whoa, there it comes. I couldn't see who did it, but oh, wait, yes, it was a CCC rider, because I just saw the CCC rider fly up the front there. So if we have that on replay here, I'm trying to see. Yep. Nope. I think we missed it. I just saw the CCC rider. I saw the flat tire. And again, the way the flat tire works is the person who activates the flat tire continues to move at the speed that they're moving, or even faster. They can actually just put on a sprint while everyone else gets slowed down to 0. So all of those riders need to just start from a dead stop to get back up to speed. And it does look like that catapulted Homer to the front, back on board with Daniel tucking safely in the draft, saying, okay, all right, I'm back here, a little bit stretched out here. These riders, but Anish still on the front, taking on all that wind. Now we haven't seen a lot of the what I call the defensive play, right? Maybe the flat tire would be called the defensive play, but I haven't seen the outright blocking that we've been seeing in some of the races. They're on the front, they're just trying to get that. Whoa, there goes another flat tire. Let's see who slingshots around. It was Jeff. You can can tell because they're moving much faster. Jeff says, enough of this shenanigans. I'm going to get up to the front right now. Comes on the inside, doesn't want to lose any of that momentum. And Jeff there on the front, 175 on the heart rate. But we do see some movement here. We see Jennifer coming around. We see her and trying to stick in with the bot patrol, trying to make sure that she hangs in there and utilizes the draft. And this is a strategy that we've seen play out on a number of races. Now, there is uncrashable as an ability, so we're not going to see the mistakes when we're watching Country Rally. Someone could make a mistake by crashing, so we're not going to see that type of a mistake. We might see other defensive moves where people are preventing someone to get by. But what people can do to counter that move is use their quantum shift. So if they are feeling like they're getting blocked in, if they are feeling like they're ready, they have the legs and they want to mount an attack, they can quantum shift and phase through the riders in front of you and break through in front of them and phase through the pack. We did see that earlier where someone was so heads up, and I forget who did it. Someone quantum shift to go through the pack. And what happened was someone immediately recognized that and flat tired them. So they wasted well, they didn't waste it, but it basically nullified their effort at that time. So it's also, when do you use your quantum shift? Do you hold them or, to the end and try to use the riders as a lead out? Do you make the break, with 8.1 kilometers to go? Probably not. But I'll tell you, when I was getting blocked earlier today in the zones, I wanted to quantum shift through, but I knew I didn't have the continuance in my legs to follow through on that move. So I ended up saying, nah, that's okay. But I did try to get around. You do start, finding it out there. Here we are on board with Nigel. This is the helicopter view. Nigel made that move back here to the front. We've got Modi, Kayla, Nigel, Jennifer, all in the front here. Right now, if everyone finished in the position that you see, this is the leaderboard. We'd have Modi, Kayla, Jennifer. So it does look like Aaron would drop back on this race, depending. He'd have to actually try to finish in a little bit higher position. As I look through the riders, I'm not sure he actually is in this particular race. He might be saving up for Saturn. It's not a requirement for all of the racers to race all 4 races in the Omnium, except that they do leave some points on the table if they do not capitalize on the race, even just finishing the race. So this is race 3 of Zone T Omnium, and that is the current leaderboard right there. As you see, it's changing up just a little bit here, but Modi, Kayla, and Jennifer there, depending how they finish, is going to these points matter. As you can see, that was changing. The points matter here on this race. So I think it's going to come down to how they play, what tactics they play at the end of the race. And so right now it might feel like, okay, dum-da-dum-da-dum, dum-da-dum-da-dum. Modi looks relaxed, but what's going to happen, because we saw it in earlier races, is that it's going to be like flat tire, boom, flat tire. And people are going to start to drop like flies because there's only so many times that your legs can go from 0 to sprint back up to 40 kph and go to 0 and then sprint back up. I mean, I didn't even get like 10 kph and I got another flat tire, and I had just blasted my legs out to just everything I've got, a massive sprint after that flat tire, and it just takes a lot out of you. So we haven't seen a lot of flat tires, maybe 4, and so there's probably about 6 or 7 flat tires that we're going to see. So this one is a 3-time multiplier. So the first race was a 1.5 multiplier, Country Rally 2.5 multiplier, and Cityscape a 3-point multiplier. So when we think about the multipliers here, what makes it a higher multiplier here? It's a little bit longer distance. You have the flat tires. I hope I'm still on in audio. Something just happened to my computer, did something fun. But you have the flat tires, you have you have all these different things happening. So it's a little bit of a longer race, and because it's a longer race, you do have a higher multiplier here. But Kayla right now sitting in wisely, trying to save her legs a little bit, and Modi also looking relaxed. And if you look down the list of of their equalized heart rate. You can tell that they're not quite at their max. And because of that, anything can happen. So these guys are somewhat hanging on to what they have in their legs. They're somewhat knowing. There's Modi who steps out saying, "No, Beth, I see Nigel up there. I'm not going to let him, team cognition rider there. I'm not going to let him get too far ahead here." But anything can happen. We're about just a third of the way done here, but Modi up the way. This is what it's looking like. It's starting to get stretched out here because the fatigue is on. Allison here coming up behind, and then so Modi is starting to make a little bit of a break here. He's putting down the power. He says, okay, I know what I have left in my legs. Who is going to chase him? Who is going to flat tire him? I don't know. Is anybody going to flat tire him? I mean, this is what we don't know about that flat tire. So he is putting in this massive effort on the front. We know that Allison isn't going to chase him. We know that Daniel isn't going to chase him. But who is going to chase him? Will it be Nigel? Nigel does not have a teammate. Doesn't look like Homer made it to this race. Oh no, Homer did make it to this race, but Jennifer on his heels here. This little coalition of three hanging together, still working, trying to stay out of the wind. And Jennifer steps around, says, I don't know, Allison. Oh, there it comes. I knew it was coming. I can't see who did the flat. Oh, it must have been Daniel. And so Daniel flat tires to come around, maybe using enough speed to bridge up to his teammate to give him a pull if possible. I'm having a little bit difficulty reading the gaps. My view did close out there momentarily, so I'm having a little bit trouble reading the gaps here. But we do see Jennifer coming around Nigel, and we also see Allison as well. Nigel steps to the inside, says, you can't stay on my wheel. Jennifer, oh, there goes a flat tire again. Daniel and Jennifer, but it must have been Modi who continues to move. He used his flat tire. He's like, nope, you guys are getting too close. So Daniel was maybe just coming up to just cause some disruption in the chase pack for his team. He used his flat tire, slingshot around the chase pack, and maybe was trying to just give Modi a little bit more running room if he made his way into the way there. So coming around this corner, here is the side-by-side view of Jennifer, of Modi. We've got Jennifer, Allison, and Nigel, all Grupo Compacto there. Jennifer a little bit on the outside. I think she might be getting the side wind here. And Modi's heart rate, this is the phase here, north of 190 phase here, where he is digging. He knows he's just got to continue it here. And wow, across the line, and he still has one lap remaining. This is brutal. New York City, Cityscape, New York City. I said it backwards. Cityscape, New York is absolutely brutal. And then they have Saturn next, which is also 2.5 points multiplier. So these guys know all of the points here, 3 times points on this race here. Modi knows he's got big points. He knows that he needs to keep these points if he wants to stay on top. But he had won the first 2 races, and this would make it 3 in a row. Who is going to stop him? Someone needs to stop the Modi train. But I will tell you, maybe not. So Modi, week after week, we've been watching him race for his teammates. We've been watching him selflessly just help his teammates along. And so right now, today must be his night. Tonight is the night where his teammates are like, we're going to do whatever we can do to help you in this race here. We are on board with Nigel, who is still absolutely drilling it. Nigel knows how to play the game. Nigel right now sitting in 5th place for the night, but trying to get as many points as he can. He doesn't want to sacrifice anything to Aaron, to Kayla. So he wants to try to make sure he gets as many points on the board here. Jennifer Garcia here looking very focused. She's sitting at 4th right now if she finishes in this position. So these 3 racers here, Allison and and Nigel and Jennifer all need to try to take points from one another, but right now conserve, because there's three, they have to work together on this last lap. None of them are teammates, but all of them, the gloves will come off at some point before they come across the line. Right now they're kind of working together, but here come Kayla and the bots. Kayla has been wisely using the bots as she did make up that ground. She said, okay, I have a quantum shift. I've been using Howard. Howard's been very helpful to me. So now it's all going to be coming down, just about 2 kilometers to go here in this final lap here on Cityscape New York. And we've kind of taken a nice tour, right? We've gone from country rally, our crazy electronic rush, super futuristic pinball machine video game, to country rally where we had to watch out for the downlogs, and now on Cityscape New York, where the roads are wide open. We don't have any obstacles, but we do have that flat tire brutality happening out on course, which is just it's just so hard to take. Nigel here on the front next to Orville here, pulling the peloton behind here. These secondary positions are going to mean a lot in terms of points. 4 laps, this is a 14.4 kilometer race, and that's why I guess it has to be 3 times points. You couldn't do it for less. And then to come into Saturn after that, these racers are going to be feeling it. And we saw some racers earlier who did the zones back to back, which is absolutely crazy town. But I admire the racers. Kayla was one of those racers who did ride in the earlier Omnium. So when she comes back with a vengeance. Here is Modi on the front saying, yes, I am going to take 3 in a row tonight. This is my Omnium. This is my zone. This is my house, Modi says. Team Cognition had a win earlier. This is Team Cognition's house. CVRcade, this is going to be T-Zone. He is going to own it tonight with just making that break, absolutely hammering it for a lap and a half, which is no easy task because you can see the wind. Those particles are coming at him. He is fighting the wind. He has had no cover. He has been out in the front in the wind, taking it on, doing this massive, massive effort. And his teammates sitting in the back saying, we're going to hold them off. We're not going to let them close the gap. And you know what else, Modi? We're going to make sure that all of these riders in the back are not going to touch you in Saturn. So we know that the Team Cognition is out on a mission tonight. But Nigel saying, I am going to take the 2nd spot. Oh, but he gets flat tired. Who slingshots around? Is it Jennifer? Nope. Jennifer, I think, also had the flat tire. Allison here moves around Jennifer. Doesn't want to get caught. You can see Allison coming around Jennifer adding power to the legs, hopping into that draft, saying, okay, well, if you're going to come around me, I'm going to use your wheels best I can. But Nigel is still drilling it on the front, does not want to be caught by Allison, wants to take as many points as he can from those riders. But boom, another flat tire, which everybody is getting the effect. And Modi also has to overcome that, but he has enough of a gap where I don't think anyone's going to catch him. I'm having trouble reading the gap, so that might sound like the stupidest thing someone could ever say because he is coming across the line. Another flat tire, though. Another flat. Oh, it's so close yet so far away. And there he has it. I knew you had it there. The 3 for 3 on the night. I'm going to give him a chance to cover. But Allison does make her way around Nigel, around Jennifer for the 2nd place win for Team Cognition here. It is a Cognition. And then Kayla coming around here. All of those flat tires disrupted, and then there's Nigel. All of those flat tires sort of disrupted the pack, and we saw that earlier in the night. And here comes Jennifer. They're all Grupo Compacto, and then it's like, how many times can you absolutely go from 0 to hammering those legs? 0, hammer those legs. 0, here we hammer those legs. Here's another one in the replay here with Nigel experiencing that flat tire going to 0 back up. Modi here on the front, just a couple 100 kilometers to go, and then he got hammered with it was cruel and unusual, but that's what flat tire is. 4 laps on New York City, a lap and a half totally solo. You can see that slow down, boom, and that was the flat tire that he had right before the line, and that's like, no, but he made it across the line without any contest there here. Modi, do you have a breath of air? Are you able to speak?
Yeah. that was good teamwork. Daniel did a great job going off the front, making people work, making people worry. As I sat in with the bots, Allison positioned herself and kept me in the draft in like a maximal draft. Every time the road twisted and turned, she jumped to the side to take the full wind and position me perfectly in the echelon. And then the only reason I was able to stay away from the bots was because of teamwork and timing that power up. Daniel and I timed his perfectly for me to be able to sprint afterwards and get a little bit more of an actual and psychological gap on the group, just enough to be able to hold it. So that was all about teamwork. And even though it looked like a big TT effort, Allison kept me fresh. You know, my heart rate was really low all the way through until that 4-kilometer effort. So I have Allison and Daniel to thank for that.
Well,
I was
we
going to
do
go with
see
Nigel.
Yes,
he
you
looked
were.
like he was going to take a break, and the way the points looked, it looked like if he and I were going to cooperate, it would be a good thing for both of us. But I think the stars just weren't aligned. Maybe it'll happen on this course, but got to be happy with that.
Well, congratulations, Team Cognition. Again, I said this is your house. This is the T Zone. This is Cognition's house, and especially tonight. And I'm happy for you, Modi, because I see all the efforts you do for your teammates. So it's nice that they can return the favor. So congratulations on 3 in a row. Let's go ahead and check in with Nigel. Nigel, a little bit with that chase group, a hard effort off of the front. Coming into Saturn, how are you feeling?
Naked. Stuffed. Oh,
Well,
you know, you think you're doing all right, and then somebody drops those flat tires on you, and it all turns to custard.
it does turn to custard. Yes, that's a really great way to put it. It's brutal. It's brutal. You've got less than a minute left. What are you going to bring on this? And I don't want to make you talk right until the last second. So quickly, how are you feeling going into this race?
I'm had it. I'm not fit. I've got a bit of a bug. It was coming on last night, so I'm a little bit tired. So I think today's not my day.
That's okay. You're still racing really strong. You're in 5th position for the night. I feel good. This is 2.5 multiplier for you. We've got Aaron sitting right behind Modi. We've got Kayla right behind Aaron here. Just 3 points separate Aaron and Kayla for the 2nd and 3rd position. I'm not going to make you speak, Aaron, but I will come to you because you've got 10 seconds to go. So watch this. There's no uncrashable. So you will crash. 10 seconds. Quantum shift. Get your position out there. 1 weight lifted, 1 wind at your back. This race is one that you can't lose the front group because it will open up quickly. Now, we have been racing such high skill events with very technical courses, and Saturn was one of the first sort of fantasy themes with corner speeds. And it was one of the first racetracks that we were racing on that we were all trying to figure out, how does the wind work? How do these speed in the corners work? And despite it being one of the ones that was our earlier tracks, it remains a mystery to some. And it remains with the wind, the mystery is recreated. It's still not an easy course, despite everyone's skill coming up so high. The wind plays a role. The corners can sneak up on you, and you do need to watch the corner speeds in this. So right now, Daniel on the front. Now we saw and we heard from Modi that Daniel took the front and of the Cityscape race and tried to tire people out while Modi was protected by his teammates. So we might be seeing a repeat of that Modi's been incredibly transparent with the team cognition, both up front and after the races here. So I'm sure all of these racers are taking notes, and but it's been a master's class in how to race CVRcade, watching team cognition execute their strategy, and it's been amazing. But do not count out Jennifer. Do not count out Aaron. Both of these racers have been quick studies. They're newer to the game than Allison. They're newer to the game than Modi, but they have been a quick study, and every time in Zone T, they are at the front. They are right up there with the leaders, always mixing things up, always finishing strong. Back on board here with Kayla. Jennifer does go down on that corner, but she will make that up. She does have a wind at her back if she needs it, a weight lifted if she uses that wisely here. Coming up the little climb, there are a couple spots here where you do have to mind that corner speed. You can see the weight lifted power being dropped there by Nigel coming around that corner. So there's a long swooping corner before it comes into a more of a hairpin and then into the chicane, but we're not quite there yet. Here's this first corner. He does slide to the outside, then he comes to the chicane. There's a very interesting way that the racers do that, and Nigel just did that flawlessly. He started on the outside of the chicane at one speed, came through, slid through the middle, and came through the second half of the chicane. And this is one of those things you cannot describe on. You have to do it to actually understand how hard that is. But he just made it look so easy. That was a really nice gameplay to watch him come to the outside. I'm going to have to remember that and go back and show people that's what you do on Saturn here. Back on board here with Kayla, very focused, very intense here, trying to get back to the wheel of Aaron, close that gap down. As she gets closer on that gap, what she does is she feels the resistance in her trainer change ever so slightly. So she's making her way into the draft. Now, I can tell you, if you've been out on the road with someone who you don't want to be in front of you, like you think, oh, well, they'll take a turn pulling, but you still feel like you're not getting a break because they're working so hard. That can happen too. So although you're getting the draft, the person in front is just absolutely drilling it so much. It's actually even hard to stay in their draft. So sometimes that can happen too. But she's got her teammate there, Aaron, Kayla. Jeff's also made his way into this race, but Modi on the front here. And 200. Oh, Daniel, was that Daniel with 202 equalized heart rate? Daniel is turning himself inside out here. 200 is a max number. That's a new high heart rate for Daniel. So everyone's heart rates gets measured by their heart rate monitor in the game. And the curve of your heart rate, the highest your heart rate ever goes, whether it's 195 or 175, the game counts it as 200. So everyone's heart rate is equalized. So you can tell the relative physiological effect of what their effort is doing to their body. So if someone is 177 and someone else is, 199, they're both up there, but you know that the person who's pushing 199 is working, it's costing them more. They might not be working harder, but it's costing them more. There's the leaderboard for you. Modi sitting on top. Nigel slides into second if he can hold this position. Kayla in third. So right now, this is, if he plays it smart, which I know he can, he's been racing on CVRcade. He knows the nuances. Here's the helicopter view. He knows the corners to watch. We saw him do the chicane flawlessly on the last lap. Here we are side by side. They are side by side in the game, and they are side by side here on the screen. You can see Allison to the rescue, coming up around Nigel. So she might be causing some disruption here. The two of them might be able to get away. She can be like, nope, I'll come to the front and give you a pull. And if Nigel tries any shenanigans, I can put on the block for him. But again, through the chicane without any trouble, these three racers know Saturn. They know the rings of Saturn. They know the chicane of Saturn. And again, unless you've raced this course before, you do not know the skill. It's hard to imagine the skill of what they made look so easy, because their heart rate 182, 180, and navigating that before the end. So about halfway through on the race. 3.8 kilometers to go. Modi does have a 4 or 5 second lead on Nigel. Nigel uses the power up here because he knows he can cut through the wind. The wind at his back helps negate some of the headwind there. Gets you up to speed. Allison tucks in behind him. He at this point he'd rather have Allison behind them than in front of him. So Kayla here trying to get back up 4 or 5 seconds to Allison. Seeing if she can close that down. But Kayla not kind of all alone trying to close that down. I didn't see yet if she did use her power up. She may not have used her power up, but that might be a spot she wanted to use it because she could maybe get back to Nigel. But I've seen Kayla do miraculous things without it. Back on board here with Nigel. Nigel, did also take the second step on Tuesday. He's been finishing at the top of the podium because he knows how to race CVRcade. All of these riders, Allison, Modi, Kayla, Nigel, have been racing on the program. Jeff Rooney have been racing on the program for quite some time, and all of them are equalized. So despite the fact that they come from different abilities, they have different strengths, they have different tactics, they can all race together and compete together. On the road outside, it might be totally different, but physical equalization lets people race together on a level playing ground. It doesn't mean that their power is the same or that we're making it so that their fitness doesn't matter. Their fitness matters, but their tactics matter. The way that they play the game, how they understand their own physiological reaction to the game, like how much do they have in their legs, when can they go, when do they need to match, when do they need to cover the brakes. All of these things play out as they're riding here. But Modi still 6 seconds up from Allison and Nigel. Nigel right now behind Allison, trying to see over her shoulder, try to anticipate her moves. She does slow down just a little bit to control the pace, I think, but not, just enough to say, nope, come around me, Nigel. I'm not going to let you use my wheel, and I'm not so mean as to brake check you yet. So we'll see if any shenanigans start there. And again, there's offense and there's defense. And right now, they're both making it through the chicane. No crashes. Again, beautifully done. 2 kilometers to go. 1 lap once they come across this line. They'll have 1 lap to go. Kayla also making her way across the line on lap 3 with 1 lap to go. She's got 5 seconds back from Allison and Nigel. So with just under 2 kilometers to go for Modi, here we are side by side, position 1 and 2, Modi and Nigel. We've seen this this mano-a-mano before. Modi has the advantage of Allison being back with Nigel if he does get any ideas, but Modi 360 equalized watts, 186 on that heart rate. Things are getting serious for him. He says, I have 1.5 kilometers to go. And I know the way that he races, once he says go in his mind, it is all mind over matter. He can absolutely drill it. Here he is using his wind at his back and saying, okay, I am going to use this opportunity. I've got a little bit of running room here. I'm going to double up with my wind at my back, with my weight lifted, and try to just open that up ever so much, just to put the hurt on, just to seal the deal, making sure. Now that's the offensive move right there. Allison didn't have to play defense because she knew Modi had a couple things up his sleeve. I mean, everyone has the power-ups up their sleeve when they use them, but he saved it there with 0.8 kilometers to go. So he did the offensive move and basically sort of shut Nigel's chances down, because there's not a lot of road left to ride. There's not a lot of road left to ride. And Allison just just sitting here reminding Nigel she's in his draft. And again, that's a place where he'd rather have her because he can set the pace. I mean, sure, he'd rather have the draft, but he'd rather not have her set the pace. He'd rather set the pace. So coming around, so now he doesn't want to let her have anything at the line here. So he's got to come around 0.5 kilometers for Modi here. So he still wants to maintain that position. If he finishes ahead of Allison. He will, if he's done, let's see, does he come up to third? Kayla is sitting in second right now, but back side by side, Modi 181 equalized heart rate. Nigel, 400 equalized watts, 700 equalized watts. Allison drops her power because she sees that Nigel is adding some power here. She accelerates around Nigel here and then uses her wind at the back, saying, I am actually going to take some points away from Nigel. And then she takes some points away from Nigel and sends him down 2 spots on the leaderboard and moves herself up a couple spots. But what she does is she upsets the apple cart. Here we go, seeing Modi come across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Point to that shirt. Point to that shirt. Cognition. Yeah, there it is. There's the winning moves. Congratulations, Modi. And here we are back on board with Nigel, who Allison did overtake and just said, I might have been playing nice and not brake checking him. I used his draft and then I just came around him and stole a bunch of points. And that's bike racing, ladies and gentlemen. And then Kayla comes across the line, secures her spot at second. Here we are back on board on Homer, who's out on course, and Aaron also just coming in, going to be on the third step here. He's going to watch that speed. He's going to finish strong. He knows what he needs to do. Again, one of the top racers making his way again to the third step tonight after having just a great string of races, a great omnium tonight. Aaron, it's great to see you coming out here on top of one of the top steps here. Top 3 of our podium here. Nice and easy through that chicane. Well played here. But man, what great racing all the way around. Great omnium for Aaron. High placement across the board. Had his teammate Jennifer also in the mix. And I was like, and then Modi was a clean sweep. So here, let's take a look at that replay here. It was Modi versus Nigel. Modi did put some hurt down towards the end of the race to open up the gap a little bit, to just ever so slightly each lap, opening the gap, navigating the chicane each time with perfection. And still, even though he doesn't have to, he comes up out of the saddle, adds a little bit of power. He sees the finish line in sight. He knows that he's won it. He's psyched. He's done the work. He had teammates there to help him. And then he crosses the line and feels pretty good about that. And like I say, point at the shirt, point at the shirt. He's a showman, but he wasn't going to get too showman. Modi, congratulations. That's all I've got to say. What do you have to say?
Well, that's my first Fulford, which I think is the term for winning each event of an omnium. So that feels awesome. And it was good racing. I couldn't have done it without the help and encouragement of my teammates who were there with me, making it much easier than it would have been like it was for Sebastian from Team Cognition, who did it solo before. You know, I have to admit I was having a little bit of a down day, and then a friend sent me some odd video about a man talking about a horse, and it just picked up my spirits and changed my fortunes. So, you know, you never know what's going to be your little bit of inspiration out there.
You know, you bring a horse and then you have them drink and then clippity clop. And, you know, boys, that's just what you got to do.
Exactly. I don't even know what sport they were talking about, but it was inspirational nonetheless. So thank you, Beth.
I think it was rugby, and I think we need to get him out on course. Well, congratulations, Modi. Excellent teamwork. And I did, you know, just some very smart racing. I always enjoy it. Let's check in with Kayla, who did take the second step. Hey, Kayla, congratulations. Welcome back. Welcome back to CVRcade Racing after a little bit of a break. How's it feel?
Thanks, Beth. Yeah, it feels awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wasn't expecting to take second place, but it feels great to do that. Madi was just phenomenal tonight. He was a powerhouse. It shows by the scoreboard too. He just killed it. So hats off to him and hats off to Team Cognition, because I saw some team tactics in there, especially on Cityscape. So just overall, it's just so much fun to be back. I've missed it, and it's just great to be racing, and I can't get over how fast an hour goes. So just nothing but smiles tonight.
Well, congratulations. And I also have been promising to get back to Aaron, who Aaron had an awesome night tonight as well. Third on the night. Right now we're watching the replay of Modi come across the line on Saturn. If Aaron is in the house, I would love to hear from you. Congrats, Aaron.
I'm here. Thank you. Thank you. First, I want to say Madi and I had an agreement that I would win tonight. You can check the chat from the previous races. So he didn't hold up his end of the bargain. But no, I had fun. I knew I couldn't push very hard on that third race. I was trying to push and not gaining any ground. So I took a little rest on that in hopes that I could do well on this one. But actually made a teammate crash. And then, I don't know, mental mistakes. I'm getting better every day, but I'm still not as strong as I want to be. So.
Well, it's fun to see the progression. I know how hard you're working. I know the mental mistakes. I make plenty every Omnium, and they do add up over time. But tonight it was in your favor, third for the night. Congratulations, Aaron. And I think we have replays across the whole Omnium. If we want to roll into those, the night started on Electronic Rush here. Jennifer at the front here, just absolutely being the monster racer that she is. But in the end, after that attack, Modi was able to answer the attack and come around her and then time it just ever so perfectly with that comeback kid. And he started the night with that first place win that really set the tone for Modi Pekelny, because he said before we started Country Rally, you need to come out quick. You need the wind at your back. You need to get to the hay bales ahead of everyone so that you don't make the mistakes. And that is exactly what he did. Wind out on course, caught Jennifer in an early crash. But that's okay. Nigel was playing his power-ups to perfection, using the wind at his back, using the corner caper, and he was looking so good to close the gap on that front group, but one lane position too far to the right and smacks into the wooden gate because it was corner caper, not uncrashable. But the story here was Aaron here, who played his corner caper to perfection and finished high in this Country Rally race. Kayla did put on a chase to try to get to Team Cognition Modi Pekelny in this race. She did shake off Daniel as well, the Team Cognition rider, and did secure a second place placement on Country Rally. But it was Modi who came across the line for 2 of 2 on the night before we headed into Cityscape. Cityscape was a cruel and unusual race. Cruel and unusual because everyone had one flat tire. So that meant that the racers would need to be stopping to come to a complete halt and then need to accelerate back up to speed, not to lose the pack, not to lose the position in the racing. And they did have a lot of strategy and team play using the AI riders, using each other in the draft. It got stretched out early on the first lap. Nigel did take a couple attacks there, but he did get hammered with those flat tires at the end were brutal. And we did see that in earlier races where it did shake up the chase pack. Modi had enough on the front here. He had enough rest in the previous laps to be able to pretty much time trial the last lap and a half, but that was given to him by earlier rest from his rider, from his teammates. So then we moved on to Saturn. Lovely Saturn here. Power up, wind at your back here. Again, it was a Modi out in front early, Nigel on the chase trying to with Modi, but we did see just perfect racing on this course. We didn't see any mistakes on the front, and that's how the racing has evolved. You need to race these flawlessly, and you need to utilize your power up strategically. And for Modi, he had Allison in the race, who was basically just kind of hanging back with Nigel. Modi takes the win, but then Allison came around Nigel and stole a bunch of points from Nigel. She didn't have to break on him. She didn't have to do anything other than just take his draft and then take over at the end. So, but Nigel did also have a 4th place finish. So congratulations to Nigel. Excellent teamwork by Team Cognition. So much fun here in Zone T. We'll be back on Saturday with more CVRcade racing. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you then.
But no, Beth York goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marbles. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.